Bantu knots are in, braids are in as well. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Ezinne here. If you're not new, welcome back and thanks for coming back again. In one of my previous videos, I showed you guys how I blow out my hair with heat using my handheld blow dryer. So for today, I'm going to be showing you an alternative method, which is a heatless method to also blow out your natural hair. I'm not really going to call it a blowout because it doesn't involve a blow dryer. So let's just say heatless method to kind of like stretch your natural hair. And in addition to that, I thought it would make sense to compare two methods. So we're going to be comparing the Bantu knots method and the braids method. Thankfully, I have a two-tone shirt. This is actually deliberate, so it's easier to tell them apart. For the red side of my shirt, we're going to have the Bantu knots, and then for the white side, we're going to have the braids. So I'm starting on freshly washed hair, even though my hair looks as though it's already dry, but it's not. It's really damp in here. It's 80% dry. So I'm just going to go on and start making the Bantu knots for this side. I'm going to make 2 Bantu knots here and 2 here, so that's 4 in all. And over here we're also going to make 2 braids here and 2 braids here. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm parting my hair with my fingers because this is not an actual hairstyle. We're just stretching it. So if your parts are imperfect, that's totally fine. Now that we're done detangling, let's go on and Bantu knots. So this is what we have, and after installing the Bantu knot, if you find that it's a bit too tight, you can just go back and rotate it in the opposite direction so it's looser. It won't unravel, it will just loosen it up. Always make sure that your roll is smooth until the end of your wrap before you put in the Bantu knots. Now we have 2 Bantu knots here. Let's go ahead and make 2 braids here before I go off camera to complete the rest of it. So for the braids, just make sure that they are firm and not necessarily tight. And then as you come down, don't do it like an actual braid, do it like you know that you're trying to stretch your hair. So make sure that everything is, like pulled down like this, and just keep moving the strands around until you get to the end of it. So when you get to the end, you just finish off in a twist. So let's make the second one. So split that in 3 nearly equal strands. So let me just finish up the back. So we're all done, and Bantu knots are in, braids are in as well. So let's allow it to stretch for a couple of hours. So when I come back, I'll tell you what duration of time I allowed it to stretch for, and we'll compare and we'll see if there's anyone that stretches better than the other, or they're just same thing. So hi guys, it's the next morning and the time now is about 11:34. So that's roughly 14 hours because I finished installation at about 9:30 p.m. So when I finished, I put my turban back on, but sorry I didn't show you guys that part. So let's just take this down and compare. So this is one Bantu knot down. You can see I'm rotating the knot in the opposite direction to loosen it. So when it loosens completely like this, all I do is just, pull it down gently and stretch it out. Okay, so I'll just wait a few seconds for you guys to be the judge. Alright, let's review. Remember, the red side of my shirt is our Bantu knot and the white side of my shirt is the braids, right? Truth is, I've stretched my hair using these two methods, but then I never really thought to compare them, and there are so many ways to do the same thing. So that's why I decided to do this video. But from my observation, you can see that the braids did a lot better than the Bantu knots because it's really stretched out and you can see like my hair falling over my shoulders. Whereas in this case, my hair is just hanging up there, and if you're like me and you like to show off your length when you just stretch your hair, stick with braids. But if you're looking to, just stretch it and have more body and waves, I think the Bantu knot is way to go for you. Now, when you look at it from the perspective of putting tension on your scalp, you notice that the braids had little to no tension, because even after installation, you could see that it was moving freely. But for the Bantu knots kind of like put more tension on your hair, especially around your hairline. So you want to be careful with areas like your edges and your nape, because if it sits too tight, you might just get like a rash around all of these places. And because I am team no tension on scalp, I'll definitely opt for the braids method. Overnight, I didn't find it really easy sleeping on this side of my head because the knots would always poke me. But then the braids were just, almost like there was nothing there. So it was a lot easier for me to sleep in. So for comfort's sake as well, the braids is a better option. So 1 point, 0 point, yet again. So, but when you look at installation and takedown, the Bantu knots are a lot easier to install and take down than the braid, because for the Bantu knot you just have to wrap and put it in a knot. But for the braids, you have to carefully like cross the strands, make sure that hair from, when you're holding the 3 strands, you have to make sure that hairs from one strand do not cross into the other strand, because if they do, when you're taking it down, you notice that your hair starts to freeze when you're trying to like separate the interlocking strands, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. But one thing to keep in mind is, regardless of the method used, when you do like hold out your hair in a stretch like this, you notice that your hair is still at the same length. So the method does not really determine the length of your hair, but when it's not stretched out like this, it would be obvious. So I feel that if you brush it out and brush this area out, they would be the same. But let's give it a try and see. So this is my white tooth comb, and I'll just comb this out. So now that it's brushed out, you can see that they are almost at the same level, if not the same level, except that the Bantu knot looks like it wants to, go back into that knot because of the process of installing it. Whereas this one tends to want to stay stretched just the way it is when you comb it out. So I guess that's basically it for these 2 methods of blowing your hair out without heat. I hope you enjoyed this comparison video of me showing you the difference between stretching your hair out using the Bantu knots method or the braids method. So let me know which of these methods you are most likely to try out soon. And if you enjoy comparison videos like this, just so you can know what to do over what in certain situations, let me know. And please do leave your suggestions for me. I promise to look at them and put them on my list of content to create for you. So thank you guys, and this should be the end of this video. Bye guys, I'll see you in the next one.